Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood as we continue the search into 1980s Satan movies. Talking satanic rituals, talking the Lord of Darkness himself in 1980s horror movies. Up next, if y'all like secret, dark rituals that literally had the lamest ritual people known to man. Like, I think they just gave somebody a cloak from party. Actually, it looked like it came from Temu. Whatever the 1980s Temu was, it looks like it came from that. With the guy who had the most un-ritual sounding voice of all times, kind of sound like a gaming nerd, who I guess recorded Satan rituals Viva old school camera in their garage, mom's garage basement, that had one Ouija board, I think, 4 or 5 candles, and no sacrificing at all, but the evil spirit translated to a VCR tape. And this VCR tape would mess up the mind of a young Kansas City hopeful who actually got some ass from a hot girl in the most awkward sex scene I've ever seen in my life. If this sounds great to you guys, then you all would love 1987 Night Visions. J.H. Alison, James Kline, what's happening, Alison? How is your trip to the big city where everybody smokes and everybody's an asshole, and you are writing a story about nothing until the tape makes you write stories about stuff, and you get asked from a hot girl about having awkward sex, and then you end up at a mental hospital writing stories about another hot woman?
I thought I was going to end up in a mental hospital after watching this thing. But this was something else. Like, this was
holy shit.
This was amazing. This was glorious.
So
this movie was awesome.
The filming of this reminded me of one of them cheap 1990s like TV shows budget. All right,
if that.
And okay, so there's a couple interesting facts. Obviously, this is a low budget film. All right, and this one's not to be confused with all the other night vision shit that's out there. There's like 3 other things or whatever. There's like this night vision show or whatever. Okay, first of all, when I was looking on the Tubies for this, there was a night vision like 1990s like like TV show that stars Henry Rollins. That sounds way better than this shit, brother.
I'm sure it is better than this.
And it's like,
I saw that come up too.
Did you see that? Because I was like, what is this? Because it looked like, I was like, is that Henry Rollins? Is he in this fucking movie? So I click on it. It said 1990s, and apparently it's like this anthology TV show where he is you have a host, and then you go into the episode, kind of like the Crypt Keeper. All right, but it's Henry Rollins doing it. I'm like, where has this been? You know what I mean? So
how did I not know this existed?
Exactly. And I'm just like, well, why are we watching this shit? Then I click on this shit. All right. And I don't know what the fuck was going on. This guy was just filming all kinds of random shit in this film. And then, my God, this Andy character, what the biggest fucking loser I've ever met in my life. Oh, my God. Anyway. I mean, it's just a little rough. Now, we are going to talk about it. I do respect the fact that Mr. Michael Kruger over here was doing all this. Apparently, he was from Denver, and he was doing all this Denver. You know, he didn't have a high budget, whatever. He's doing like independently. All right.
Right.
And apparently, he was making a name for himself, doing all these like independent like horror films or whatever the hell you call this. All right. It's just, I don't know, the way he like. It seemed like you could definitely tell he got some people that didn't know how to act on this fucking movie. And like, here you go.
Right.
All right. Now, I did like the Vinny guy. You know what I mean? The Italian gangster dude or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I mean? He was on there.
That guy. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll talk all about it. But it was, it's nothing special. And a lot of it is goofy. All right, but
most of
it wasn't bad for what it was. You know what I mean? Especially for being a low budget independent film, and it had a good concept behind it. You know what I mean? Kind of a creepy concept in a way. All right, it's just the execution of it. Watching it out of our eyes nowadays might be a little tough because it's very dated.
I was gonna say it's very dated. It's really hard to watch now. It's
Yeah.
really hard to. I mean, I don't know how great it would have been in 1987, but it was hard. It was hard to watch now. I mean, and I don't think it helped, or maybe it did help that the version we watched on Tubi basically was just a VHS runoff onto Tubi. There's no remastering or anything on this.
No. It was just all for the Tubi one. I believe. I don't even know if we even got the Blu-ray treatment on this shit. They're just like, here you go.
No. This is just straight VHS.
Yeah, we ain't doing no 4K mastering on this thing. All right. So, but we'll talk all about it. There's a couple fun little trivia stuff I found over here about the good old Night Vision and the director. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into who booked this shit.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of shit that was booked on here that was, well, something. All right. Now, listen, I mean, I'm not going to hate on it too, because listen, I have made some independent films myself. No budget at all, 000. Obviously, I made it with a little bit more technology behind me, not much, but more. All right. So I do respect the entrepreneurship of the film and the independent stuff, because I did that too, when I just, hey, you want to be in here for a second? Go ahead. You know what I mean? You gotta work with your dealt with, but I think there was some of the dialogue and some of the stuff that I thought was a little goofy, but we'll get into it. All right, so this was shot in a tiny Denver region, shot on video production made by Michael Kruger. All right, so Kruger, he is actually known for directing Mind Killer.
Not yet. Right? From the same year,
Lone Wolf. 1988, and he actually did the Amityville Curse, 1990, which we definitely would have done during our Amityville, but we didn't do 90s back in the day. But maybe we'll check out that time. Maybe we'll check out the Amityville Curse and see how that goes. All right. So obviously his stuff is very DIY filming, do it yourself filming. All right. There's a couple stories that came from this movie. So one person who worked on the movie's editing later described it as a virtually no budget. So maybe you got a hot dog and a handshake, brother.
Yeah, you don't say.
All right. With many people working without pay because they wanted to help make the movie and get experience. Which I always thought that would be good for like a super independent. I always had this idea where if I was going to make like Sledgehammer 2, okay, or whatever the many remakes that we kind of wanted to do over the years. My first thing is I don't have any fucking money, all right, unless y'all want to pay me some fucking money on here. I'll do it then. But my thing was, okay, I'll get a small budget and I'll go to the theater school and I'll just do a little, if they let me, I'll ask all the theater people who wants to be in this movie and I'll give you a credit on your resume. You know what I mean? So at least I'll give them some experience or whatever.
I don't know how well that works anymore because now people want to get paid for everything that they do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which I'm not any different. Like, if I'm doing some music for your movie or whatever, I want to get paid for it. Music's not free and work is not free and time is not free.
Exactly.
So I understand that, but I don't know how well that works anymore. But yeah, that's probably what happened during this was like, it'll give you experience on making a movie and then.
Yep. So the editor said he received the footage from Denver and assembled the movie in Los Angeles only over a few weeks. So he only edited it for a couple weeks, which, there wasn't too much stuff to edit, but he did add in some 80s effects to some part. I like the, he didn't add this on, but I like the fake blood coming out of the VCR cassette.
That was amazing.
So it was filmed on 35 millimeter film. All right, that's why it had like a different look than some of the stuff that we do on here, which I think is more of a 90s thing. Like a lot of the 90s stuff brought back that 35 millimeter. All right.
Well, yeah, I mean, like it's actually pretty amazing that he used 35 millimeter because 35 millimeter film would have been pretty expensive then.
Maybe he had like a discount.
You know what I mean? Maybe, but like a lot of, like Evil Dead, for example, that was shot on 16 millimeter film.
Yeah. And
a lot of the low budget indie horror movies were shot on 16 millimeters. So for him to shoot on 35 was actually probably a pretty big splurge for him, I would imagine. I mean, it's the only thing he splurged on in this entire movie, but
well, that I guess
which means this movie could look a lot better if they had the original negatives that they could remaster it.
Remaster,
because 35 millimeter film is almost 4K, so you could make this into a 4K Blu-ray if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you had the masters. Yep. So this was a shot on video horror movie. All right. That explains.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You said it was just shot on 35 millimeter film.
Yeah,
was it shot on video?
Well, it was essentially a 1980s SOV shot on video. So basically, they were meaning it's shot on 35 millimeter. All right. Okay, hold on a second. I think I messed this up a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that's confusing. Those are two different things.
It was shot on video, not conventional 35 millimeter. So it was shot the video on here.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So so this is as good as this piece of shit will ever look.
Yes,
probably. Okay, yeah. So it was shot straight to video.
That was my bad. I read it wrong. So basically, this was shot the video, while your normal ones are kind of 30. Your higher expensive films are shot on 35 millimeter. This was not. This was shot on. That makes way more sense. This was shot on a grandma's cassette player tape.
Basically, yes.
Right? So they were saying that basically what Kruger did was because all of his limitations, he would just shoot around the limitations that he had. You know what I mean? So a lot of the places that he did were kind of like he did his own. He found his own places to shoot at. He shot a lot of the downtown area, around that. Cause they're basically saying like he kind of like figured out like places that he could film in they didn't ever have to cost too much. All right.
And I'm sure he had no permits or anything. He probably just shot this guerrilla style all around Denver or wherever he was at.
So they said they have Jim Kelly has cinematographer and Jonathan Morris as editor with music by Bob Drake. I wonder if it's related to Drake.
Maybe it's Drake under a different name. Yeah, in 1987. I don't know how old Drake is, but he's probably younger than that.
So a couple of the tricks they did on production, all right, was the possessed VCR. All right, it displayed a 666. The sign of the devil, rather, because this is a Satan movie. Even though I think it's supposed to be 616, but I don't know. I don't know everything about my Satan culture.
No, me neither.
So the possessed VCR displayed 666, which is actually a filming problem. All right. The filmmakers wanted the VCR to display the number 666, but in real VCR's display, it's designed to simply show certain numbers like that. Like they don't really show like numbers in a row like that. It's supposed to show like certain numbers. All right. But then the editor figured out a wonderful, cheap solution. They ran the video backwards to make the VCR display work for the shot. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So it's exactly the kind of trick that tells you what sort of production this thing was. All right. All right. So basically, that's how they figured out how to display their numbers kind of like in a row like that. All right.
I mean, that's pretty brilliant, though. Well, I mean, I think it's brilliant because I don't know how to do that. But, I would imagine at the time that's probably pretty amazing.
Yeah.
To do.
So the entire movie has
ingenious, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like it's something to figure out. Like you're like, okay, well, how do we get these numbers on here? It doesn't go in a line like this. They kind of like do like different style of numbers. So we got to figure out like how to do it backwards. And that's how you get it.
Yeah. Which is one thing that is cool about independent movies is that you just got to figure out a way to make it do the thing.
Yeah, make it figure out. Yeah. So the entire movie has this weird, somebody just went outside with the camera quality because of its reality is Denver street life in ordinary locations. All right.
Because that's exactly what happens. Yeah. Just went outside with a camera.
Yep. So the opening uses actual Denver imagery. Mm-hmm. And the film was shot also, obviously Denver. So it showed. So apparently in this movie, it's displayed that Denver sucks. There's crime. Everybody's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody smokes. Golly, the amount of cigarettes that were in this fucking movie, bro. I felt like I got secondhand smoke just by watching this fucking thing.
Well,
holy.
Well, it is 1987, so like,
holy moly.
Back then, like there'll be people that will argue with me, but like, nearly everyone I knew smoked. In the 80s. Like that's just a thing that people smoked.
Yeah, in the 90s
they smoked everywhere. Yeah, and they smoked everywhere they went, in the restaurants, in the bars, everywhere.
The only smoking shit I ever liked in films is when the smoking man did it on the X-Files. That was cool.
That was a really cool
Other than
part
that,
of the
it's just
character,
like fucking every 5 seconds these people smoking. So one person, okay, this is one is a fan. You can actually find this on IMDb on the review section. This is what one person claims. So one person later claimed to have been an unpaid extra, recalling encountering the production while out photographing downtown Denver at a night and being recruited to appear in the scene. So he's just out there doing some photography. They're like, "Hey, you want to be in this movie, brother?
You want to be in my movie?" Sure.
So that's a perfect snapshot of basically how like independent this was. And he said he was an extra around people just walking around Denver. All right. So the saddest part of the story probably comes from Michael Kruger. All right. So obviously he was the director. And like I said before, he was getting actually a fair amount of notice during the later part of the 80s. All right. Because of all his independent film. Like I said, this guy was truly independent. Like he would film, shoot, mostly do everything on his own. Obviously he sent out probably a lot of the cuts to be edited and music and stuff. He needed some help with that, but everything else like he would do like on his own, write the script, do the whole production, funded everything, producer, everything. All right. And a lot of his films were like, they weren't getting like like blockbuster attractions, but they were getting, attractions from the horror movie audience at that time. Because like I said, he did Mind Killer and Night Vision the same year. He did Lone Wolf, and he had got to direct the Amityville Curse, which probably had at least a budget behind it. You know what I mean?
Had some kind of budget, yeah.
So, but the problem is, while probably in the year that the Amityville Curse came out, apparently he died in Denver on August 27, 1990 at only 39. So that's horrible.
Oh, that is horrible. Yeah. I was wondering why he never made any movies past Amityville Curse, but now we know why.
And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, what could it, because obviously, there's a shit ton of Amityville movies, but that is a big project to get, especially if you're just an independent horror director, because you could probably make a career almost of doing that, that part of the franchise and maybe branch off and do something else, but we don't know because he died. So, which is horrible.
And the thing about independent filmmakers too is like, filmmaking is just like anything else like that. It's a passion project.
Yeah.
You have to want to do it. You have to have a drive to do it. And it seemed like he had a drive to make these movies. Then all of a sudden he quit. And I was like, well, that's weird. Like, why did he just stop? And he passed away.
Yeah.
Because we see it all the time. Like people make these movies and then they're like, never make another movie because it was just such a pain in the ass and they just didn't want to deal with it. And I'm, it's like, fuck it, I'm going to do something else. But this guy really cared. He just really wanted to make movies. Yeah. And it's kind of sad that he didn't get to live his full dream, but he did leave behind Night Vision for us to enjoy in 2026.
And, Mind Killer, apparently he did those ones back to back. So he's doing two at the same time, which is kind of neat, they're saying like, he does have some, you could tell like who his inspirations were. Because they're saying like David Lynch was a big inspiration from him. Kind of like pointing out the film blends like reality, fantasy, and possibly supernatural events that can kind of happen. It's like, hypnosis and stuff like that, being, obviously during this time too, they're trying to portray that the VCRs can be a tool of ritual Satan.
Yep, just like the computer was in last week's movie.
What do you think would be worse, the Apple II computer controlling Satan or a VCR cassette tape?
Oh, man. The VCR cassette tape would have better video quality, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't. But it's kind of cool.
The 8-bit. We don't see the 8-bit Satan. We can see it.
We don't see the 8-bit. Yeah, the 8-bit Satan. That should be a band name. Like, why is there not a band called 8-bit Satan?
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh, there we go. Bro, that's our black metal band now. 8-bit Satan, and we just go on there like we wear robes, but they're all like 8-bit. Wow, you know what I mean? Like it looks like we're off that old Mario game, but all in our fucking. Okay, what we would look like is the old Zelda. You know what I mean? We would come out looking like those 8-bit robes and shit. That'd be awesome. All right, I'll do it. I think I could be in a black metal band. You know what I mean? I got
absolutely. Yeah, you have the look at least.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Paint my face a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
That'd be perfect. Could go open for Behemoth.
Well, no, I would want to do, what's that other one that's like that, that they're kind of like very old school Satanic band? God, man, they come around here every once in a while. It looks like it's straight from the 80s. Oh, fuck, I can't remember their name. Like, it's Hell something, but yeah, like, you know, I would like to go open for like one of those like very obscure ones. You know what I mean? So it can just be as obscure as they are. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, this one, like I said, like I think the thing that killed me for the film was the Andy character. I just thought he was the biggest fucking wuss. I mean, I get it. He was supposed to be a young man from Kansas. We ain't in Kansas anymore.
No, we're not. We ain't in Kansas
and he was supposed
anymore.
to be like this fucking wussy who's trying to make himself in a big life. And then next thing you know, he gets a hottie at the video store. The hottie's all over him, and he just like doesn't know what the fuck. Did you see him all curled up there in the fetal position where she was trying to get on him? Oh my god!
Yeah,
what a wuss.
I mean, this seems really weird. Like, I don't know where Michael Kruger's from. I'm assuming not Kansas, but
is there any relation to Freddy Krueger?
Oh, if only. But he keeps talking about how like, oh, it's the big city. We don't have anything like this
Denver.
back home in Kansas. Like, you don't have big cities in Kansas. Like, I'm pretty sure that there are big cities in Kansas.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Part of Kansas City is in Kansas, and that's a very big city. You know, so I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah, but that's the whole theme of this, right? Was like the big city is evil, and you know, bad things happen there.
Yeah,
so stay
when you go to the big city, everybody is an asshole. Everybody smokes. There's crime everywhere, and you get possessed by a satanic VCR tape.
Exactly.
That's the point. What's the why would you not want to go to the big city then? You get all those fun adventures. There you go.
I know.
Well, everybody, I say let's get into it. Let's get into the full review of the Night Vision.
Ooh, it's gonna be a good one.
So we can't keep that one in stock. Writers have to experience life.
So what are you writing about, kid?
Well, I don't know yet. But, I'm sure I'll find it in this city.
What's going on here?
This does not concern you.
No, he kind of sort of gave me a VCR. His way of saying thanks.
Saw the first couple minutes of it. Something about a group of people wearing robes and saying weird things. Not my cup of tea.
I don't like horror movies. They scare me.
I just keep my mind open as much as I can. Things just sort of pop into it all on their own. Mom says I'm too susceptible to things.
Dr. Alison, we've heard a lot of rumors about a local group that combines ancient rituals with modern techniques.
I'm familiar with this group. By utilizing the focus of brainwaves, alpha energy actually, which is a modern-day meditative technique.
Get a story I could get my soul into, you know?
It's experience you want. You came to the right place. These city girls were born.
Nazi rectal roundup. You are disgusting and perverted.
Thank you. Tennessee Chainsaw Barbecue? One of your date couldn't make it. I don't know, man. Something here just ain't right. This is the big city, okay? Wise up. There's assholes around, okay? Go back to Kansas if you can't handle it.
Well, honey, you're not Kansas. Has something to do with that video machine.
We are seeing different scenes of the big city known to us as Denver. I'm guessing this is the Denver, Colorado. That's the big
Denver,
city.
Colorado. Yep.
So is everybody a dick in Denver, Colorado, apparently? In the 80s?
I've never actually been to Denver, so I don't know. But I would imagine there's some cool people in Denver.
I stopped by there one time.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get to like experience the nightlife or another than.
No.
I heard it's super expensive there.
Could be.
But
Probably
it's
is.
a city, I guess.
Were you just in the airport?
No, I was. We were on our way. I was working for this job where we're moving like studio equipment, and we moved it all the way from Texas all the way to Wyoming, and one of the stops was in Colorado. All right.
So you just hung out.
I think it was Denver. Yeah. All I remember is a hotel, and then there was some diner nearby. And that was about it. So basically, we're seeing that these. You guys can't see in the audio version, but I'm doing the little signs. Criminals.
Yeah.
You know
Criminals.
What I mean? Where. Okay. I'm all about independent shit. Just slap somebody on with something. But holy shit, bro. They found some cheap ass capes. They gave it to fucking Beavis and Butthead, and they popped them on that fucking thing. All right. And they're doing some like satanic rituals in their mom's basement, and they're recording it on video. This could have been very. So if this was made nowadays, this would have been super creepy. You know what I mean? Because we've seen the recording, the old school recording, you know, we see it on the back rooms, we see it on VHS, you know what I mean, where you have like these criminals doing rituals and you record it very old school videotape style. It's funny to me where we can make old school video style more creepy than you actually could make it back in the day. You know what I mean?
I know it looks scary now when you see things on like VHS, but but stuff shot back then just looks cheap.
Some of it, Now, some of it looks pretty crazy, but the way that they do it nowadays makes it look a little more creepy. All right. So then, after they're done with their Satan ritual, all right, we have a shorter man with a great mustache.
Yes.
I think his name is Vinny.
Vinny.
All right. He goes in there and steals the fucking Satan VCR and TV, which is the old box TV. You know what I mean? Remember
that
those
weighed
things
like
back?
100 pounds.
Yeah, remember those things? Now, his was a combo, brother. He had the fucking box TV VCR combo. That's high rolling right there, man.
Yeah, that was high technology.
It makes me think, were these freaking kids, were they like Nepo babies? Because that's some high rolling TV cassettes they had back in the day.
I mean, that definitely wasn't cheap, probably in 1987. Like, I don't really know how much a VCR was, but I'll bet a VCR TV combo was still pretty expensive.
So there was a lot of like quick cuts and stuff like that in the film. It looked okay, but it definitely looked very, very cheesy. All right. So now we meet Andy, our fucking character from this fucking movie. Golly, this guy. Ugh. He reminded me of like every like 80s, 90s like normal nerd. You know what he'd be perfect. He'd be the perfect hipster guy nowadays. You know what I mean? Just some no fucking ball test. Oh God, some nice dude. He's just a nice feller from the good old places of Kansas. Just nice.
Who can't handle the city?
Who can't handle nothing?
The city, big city, to be a writer, and like he just like gets upset about everything. Like,
so he's awkward. He doesn't know what's going on. I do like the scene though where they're in the hotel, and like you have all these fucking sports nerds. I guess they were. With like,
I don't know what they are. The people with the horned helmets on. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't figure out if there's some kind of like fraternity type thing or like some kind of like.
I thought they were from like the Denver
society
Bronco. I don't have no idea. They're wearing horns.
No, they're talking about buffaloes.
And then like they had that one asshole that like laughs at his own jokes. God, those people are annoying. Yeah. Hey, we'll teach you how to get some horns. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. And then like my favorite part was like the actual people working at the front desk. They're like, "Can you get these fucking marks out of here?" All right. So Andy's trying to get a room.
Yeah.
But the guy's like, "All right, it's $250." And he's like, "Oh, that's not how much. I didn't want to spend that much, but you're saying $250 for the whole month? I almost died in my chair." You're saying $250 for a whole month, brother? I could barely get $250 for one night nowadays.
I don't. Well, right, but I was trying to think like,
what's that in inflation?
I don't even in 1987. $5,000 were that cheap. I did not think they were that cheap.
Well, apparently in Denver City they are, which is probably one of the most expensive cities to go to nowadays. That shit would have been $5,000 probably. All right.
$200 for a whole month. That's crazy.
So the guy, I guess, in order to get the special rate, you had to be a local of wherever, So he wanted the guy's number, and the guy read up a bunch of numbers, and the guy was like, listen, man, are you going to give me this fucking number? I need a credit card because I have an audition to go to, and I don't want to be around all you marks. Which I appreciate.
Yeah, he said, I need a number. He needed a credit card number, and he didn't have one, so he's just reading off a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
And he read off too many numbers.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, look, just get out of here.
Yeah, so basically he told the other guy, give him to the special room that we give for special members, so he threw his ass outside. And then kids stole his clothes.
Yeah.
The only interesting part about this scene was nobody was smoking.
The only scene where nobody was smoking.
So now, the big story is Andy is here because he's trying to escape his simple life in Kansas and his mother, and he thought about going to the big city would give him enough material to write his stupid book. All right, so that's what's going on with him. So now Andy, he had now found the cheap hotels, basically, where all the crackheads and whores go to.
Yeah.
In the city.
And they're like $60 a week or something. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
A month or something like that.
We meet the cross-dresser person.
Mm-hmm.
Who I actually thought did a pretty good job acting in this film.
Yeah.
And then this is when this is also too when he eventually meets Vinny. All right, because after he got the hotel and stuff, he witnesses Vinny getting roughed up by these two Beavis and Butthead looking ritual guys. That literally, like, they had the most unscariest voices ever. You know what I mean?
No, he can't. Yeah, he can't be choosy. He has to pick whoever he could find to give them.
I liked how the ritual didn't have any like voices on the tape. Because if you would have added these guys' voices, it would have sounded like your back.
It would just sound goofy.
Literally, it sounded like two Nepro babies out there creating a ritual tape in their mom's basement. All right? That's what it was like. All right? So now Andy, apparently he has some backbone. So he stops these two Beavis and Butthead ritual dudes from beating up Vinny. All right? And then they get out of there. So now Vinny knows he has a mark now in Andy. All right, so he eventually gives Andy the VCR TV set combo because he knew that's what the ritual guys were looking for. So he gave it to Andy to go pass off on him. And basically, Vinny is basically a con guy, a street conner. What do you call him? A street thug? No. He's a guy who basically robs people, but he's like a street smarts about it.
Yeah, he's just like a street criminal, I guess.
And he doesn't like being called that. He definitely has a little bit of that short guy syndrome going on.
Yeah, and he was very short.
Yeah. So now he gives him to this tape. And then Andy, of course, because he's from the South. All right. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, oh, I thought this is just what people in the city do. I thought they just rub up people and they just give me free stuff because he's nice. All right.
Yeah, sure. That's what happens.
So now Andy is in his shitty up hotel or whatever. He watches a little bit of the tape. It contains the images of the hooded figures performing the Satanic ritual, which is basically they had a little table. Mm-hmm. They had some candles.
Those 4 candles. Yeah.
And like I think it was a Ouija board. It could have just been a placemat. And it was like cut a little bit.
Because they couldn't afford a Ouija board, they just used.
Oh my god! I mean, it was.
You can't tell the difference on VHS.
And then, of course, the VHS had a little static and shit like that. It was a little hokey pokey, but it did the job apparently.
Yes.
So now strange things are kind of happening. All right, and the VCR essentially becomes a supernatural inspiration machine for his writing. Okay.
Yes.
So this is when we have Andy kind of basically meeting his squeeze. All right. He basically meets her in the video store because he can't really find a job. All right. Because he needs the jobs to, pay for the essentials. You know what I mean? He said he sent off all his writings to a bunch of companies, but they haven't heard back. We have a scene of him in a telebooth trying to get some job interviews. They all tell him to go F off. And eventually he finds the VHS store. Okay.
Yeah.
That was oh God, what's the girl's name? He was with the girl on there. All right. And basically with that, like he kind of, friends her, you know what I mean? He basically, they were going back and forth. He likes horror films. She doesn't like horror films. There's one kid trying to steal some porn, which I was like, you know what? I've been there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I did love. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I did love seeing all the old VHS tapes on the walls. That was really cool.
That was cool, yeah.
Like the Terminators on it and part of it, and it was awesome.
So I did the lady. She was all like, the kid was trying to steal one of the porn tapes. It's like, listen, kid, we have a safety feature here where like we don't put the tapes in the displays. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty funny.
That was great. A safety feature.
Yeah. So Andy's meeting Jill. All right. Jill is basically the girl who runs the video store when the owner's not there. All right. And at first, she basically, I guess, offers him like a little bit of a side quest to do of delivering some videotapes. But she says, like, basically, you got to come back and talk to the boss if you want like a full-time, real job over here.
Right. Yeah.
So then, he tells everybody he's a writer. He gets calls from his mom about how things are going and everything. And it basically progresses where Jill is now being a little what do you say? She likes his smile. She likes his nerdy smile. So Jill's basically one of those girls from the city who's beat up. You know what I mean? Not beat. Well, she's basically beat up from the city. She's very like she could have a little bit of an attitude, and she's really big into nerdy skinny guys. All right.
Apparently,
we've all met those types.
Well, I think she likes him because he's nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, he's
not
a dick. And he doesn't, not like a dick like everybody else in Denver apparently is.
Right. He hasn't been become an asshole like everybody else in the big city.
As I spill my tea on myself.
I don't call it Denver. I call it the big city because that's what he calls it.
Yeah, the big city. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so now we're seeing some signs that Andy is now starting to write some good stuff now. He's getting some confidence in him. All right. And some of the stuff that he's writing is coming true, which is one of them was Jill asking, saying he likes to smile and everything. And eventually they agree to like hang out. All right. And then we get a little bit back and forth with Vinny and stuff on there. Vinny's kind of like wants to get Andy involved with some of his criminal activities, but Andy doesn't want to do it. So we have a little bit of that drama going on. And it basically progresses where Jill didn't visit Andy at his apartment, all right, to talk. All right. So eventually she said, okay, well, come back. And what we'll do is we'll talk after, you talk to the boss about getting a job here. All right. So then we see him walking around the big city. All right. And this is when they kind of have more of a connection. And then eventually they become lovers. Now, they're in... Okay, I don't know. Okay, I've seen a lot of... we do 80s podcasts, obviously. A little bit 90s. Mm-hmm. And me and Alison have seen a ton of sex scenes on these podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
I have never seen a sex scene so awkward that I saw in this fucking thing. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on here. So, apparently, Andy... Apparently, when you're a guy from the southern regions of nowhere, you never had kissed a girl, nothing. Even though we see all these fucking movies, they're always in the middle of nowhere and everybody's getting ass everywhere. But Andy, no, you can't do it. All right.
Well, I mean, look at Andy though. I mean, it's likely that guy's never kissed a girl.
Well, apparently Jill was like, "Wow, I like your cheekbones, I like your face." You know what I mean? So anyway, you could tell her way she is waiting to get going, and Andy doesn't know what the fuck's going on over here. He's like, "What? Can you just talk about my stories?" No, we want to hear your fucking stories, brother. We want to start making out. All right. So she's on the bed and everything. Hold on.
Yeah.
She's on the bed, right?
Yeah.
They're all next to each other, and he's going on about like, yeah, I'm writing some good stories right now, but some of it's coming true. It's kind of weird. And she's like, listen, you nerd. All right. Are you going to make out with me or not? And he's all like, kissing? What? And then she calls like, oh, you never been with a woman before, have you? And he was all like, the fetal position? Like a fucking nerd. What a dick. Look at this guy. All right. I mean, we've all been there. You know what I mean? We all had our first time. I didn't crawl up to the fetal position. Bro, okay, so they kiss a little bit, all right? And then she comes. Yeah. I could not believe my eyes when I was watching this. I was about to be like, what the fuck is going on here? She comes out in this hot little pink robe, right? She's a pretty good looking girl, this Jill. You know what I mean? Shit, you should have saw the bruiser I got for my first time, brother. This guy over here, Andy, gets a hot one.
He gets a hot one, and he can, Well, I mean, you know.
All right.
Bruiser.
I got a bruiser on my first one, brother. Look at this guy getting some hottie. He didn't even know what to do. All right, so she walks out. Bro, you should have. This guy's face, I could not believe my eyes. His face was like he just. Okay, I know y'all can't see it on the audio, but like, did you see his face? It was like,
yeah, he was definitely like he looked like.
I mean, he looked like somebody was killing a cat in front of him. Okay, or something. Yeah, like it was like it looked I was like, what is going on here? So she walks out, gets all naked, and then jumps on him, and he's all like in the fetal position. Oh, don't touch me. What the Alison? Can you explain to me what was going on here?
I cannot explain to you what's going on here, other than like he looked like he was being assaulted.
He did.
And and that was the only thing I got out of this. I was like, oh God, just leave this guy alone.
So
he obviously doesn't want to be with you.
So Jill is doing everything while this guy's in the fetal position. All right, we don't really see any penetration because the actor is probably like, I don't want to deal with this fucking nerd.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid for this shit.
So we see the aftermaths of it, and we see Jill like go up to the window, smoking, having the most disappointed look on her face. I was just like, yeah, duh. Look at this guy. And then like it cuts to like Andy back at his house or whatever. All right. And the videotape's doing its videotape shit that's like controlling his mind through satanic worship powers. And then he gets a call and he thinks it's his mom, but it's not.
No,
it's Jill saying, "Oh, I've been called worse," and she's all like, "I had a fantastic night." I was like, "What are you talking about? You look like you had the most depressing night ever." And then she was all about it. She was like, "You know what? I had the most fantastic night. You were so wonderful. You were so great." And I was like, "What is going on here? Am I in like in a different universe right now?"
Well, I mean, what else is he gonna say? But also, I find it funny that I understand place he's living because they have to share a bathroom on the hallway too.
Yeah, and a phone.
Yeah. They're not calling his room; they're calling the hotel, and then he comes down and takes the phone call. From the lobby.
Yeah, and like the reason Andy was a little like because the videotape's doing stuff to mess with his mind. Okay, the only thing I could think of. All right, I'm gonna put my creative hat on of why it was so awkward during the sex or whatever. Is because we see it where he's doing his writing, right, and a lot of his stories are coming true. So maybe during his writing magical VHR ritual satanic spell magic powers, he is controlling Jill's mind. So even if he sucks in bed, she'll still like it. That's why I came up with the conclusion was. All right.
I mean, that's as good of headcanon as you can come up with for that, I think.
So now Jill, she's all about him. All right. Andy got a new woman in his life after screwing up in bed. She's all good. Maybe that's what we should all do out there. We all have to screw up in bed in the fetal position.
Just as I say, just curl up in a fetal position and the woman will love you.
Yeah, and then write some stories about her. There you go. So there was that scene where we meet like the blonde, I guess it's Jill's roommate, and Andy's in his underwear writing for some reason. And he's writing about Jill saying like, I'm obsessed with you, blah, 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 blah. So now we have a scene where Jill like comes to Andy's room, and because I guess Andy was kind of like ignoring her for a little bit, and this is when Andy's kind of figuring out that a lot of stuff that he's writing is definitely coming true. There was one where he's writing Vinny as a character. We have the scene where the video store has been robbed or something like that. some stuff that he's writing throughout his story seems to be happening, and he's kind of like, he can't figure it out why. Like he basically starts to think that it's the actual TV itself that's doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this is when we see the TV, it'll just randomly come on with no power. It will go on to a lot of like, fuzzy screen, negative stuff, and it'll start bleeding. All right.
Right.
So there's a couple things where it comes ahead. So Jill comes to his apartment, starts to kiss up on him and everything. And this is when she gives the line to Andy about the exact line that he wrote at that house where the blonde girl was like flirting with him. He is hearing it verbatim through Jill. So now he knows something is really up. He's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now he freaks out a little bit. Now he has to go take a shit or something. So he's waiting in line with other people. So that's where we have our comedy. We have one guy on the shitter taking forever while everybody's in line. We have one guy being plates thrown at him. Also, too, Andy does freak out about people trying to shoot at people in the area because he's not used to city life.
Right. Then they find out the guy's passed out on the toilet.
Yeah, he's not
falls asleep on the toilet.
Yeah. So during all this, Jill's now made herself comfortable in the cheap motel. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And the TV turns on, and it starts showing Jill, and she's doing the whole, hey, I'm on TV thing. And it starts freaking her out, so she screams. Right when Andy was in the bathroom, that's when she starts screaming. He runs out there, and she's all like, the videotape is now it's me on there. It was like controlling my mind and shit like that.
Right.
All right. So now Andy is like, I got to get rid of this thing. It's too creepy. Everything's going on. It's very creepy. I'm going to give it back to Vinny. Okay. Him and Vinny have already been on the outs a little bit because remember, Vinny was trying to get him to be part of his crew, but Andy kept like refusing because he just wants to write his stories.
Right.
All right. So he gives the VCR combo back to Vinny during Vinny's poker game. While every scene by the way, everybody's smoking just everywhere. All right.
Yes. Everywhere.
And I'm pretty sure it was caramel light. It wasn't lights, but it was reds all over.
I don't know.
So he gives them back. Vinny's all, listen, he's basically just being like a bully and shit. Like, hey, we're in this, you helped me out, but you owe me and stuff. And I gave you this thing of a surprise or whatever. You got to go help me with this. He basically wants, he basically is trying to convince Andy to be his getaway driver from another score he's trying to do. All right.
Yes.
And Andy agrees to do it, even though he doesn't want to do it, but he gives back the VCR combo. So this is when Vinny tells his bigger dude to go, hey, go keep an eye on this guy and make sure he does it.
This was the worst tail I've ever seen in my life. Like he was like 3 feet behind him.
He was hiding. That shit was hilarious. Yes. Like when Andy looked back, he was like, oh yeah. All right. So then we have a cutscene of Andy supposedly killing the guy. Mm-hmm. All right. So now Vinny gets looked up by the detective. Mm-hmm. And the detective's on to him now about his friend dying. He's like, of course, I have no idea what's going on here. But now Vinny suspects that Andy has killed the guy. All right. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of stuff keeps happening now. So now we have Andy, all right, he finally got rid of the VCR and stuff. The VCR comes back on, okay? But now a couple things start happening. Now the ritual people, all right, are trying to find the tape they made, the Nepo Baby ritual tape that they made.
Yeah.
All right. So they beat up Vinny, like they try to like get Vinny to do it and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, but they basically the tape. So basically, they came to the realization. You know what I mean? Like the evil cloak guys are trying to find the tape, and then Andy comes to the realization that it's not the television that's haunting it; it's the VCR tape. It's doing it. The tape contains the evilness of the satanic ritual stuff. All right. So Andy actually was what we find out is that the ritual guys are looking, but they can't find the tape because Andy stole back the VCR and tape, and then now he's trying to recruit Vinny, all right, to be like, hey, I didn't kill your friend, all right, it was the videotape that's doing everything, so let's watch the videotape and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so they watched the videotape together, and now the videotape has shown that Andy has been doing all these murders. All right, so it shows a ritual, it shows Vinny stealing, then it shows Andy messing up the video store. He's the one that did that. It shows Andy killing the friend. All right, and then it shows a clip of Andy eventually trying to kill Jill. And then Vinny is all like, what the fuck, I knew it. And this is when Andy kind of grabs and starts choking out Vinny. So during this, Jill's friend finds the story, the transcript story that Andy left behind. And she tells Jill, we need to tell the detective. The detective now reads the story saying, oh, shit, this guy has been doing all these murders. He basically confessed it during his book. All right. Yeah. And Jill's like, no, that doesn't sound like Andy at all. He would never do this kind of stuff. He's all like, and then the cop was like, no, you see it? He's been hanging out with these satanic ritual guys, and he's buddy with Vinny. Of course he's doing it. So now they put a tail on them to kind of go to their house and stop them. So now before Andy can wipe out Vinny because he's possessed by evil Nepo baby VHS spiritual tape cassette of Satan. Yeah. The cops come in. They don't just automatically shoot Andy like they would nowadays. They wait. Right. All right. Yeah. They get him to calm down. Vinny says, hey, this guy committed all the murders. I have it all on tape. So they play the tape. All it shows is Andy stealing the VCR combo. The cop's like, what the hell?
No, not Andy.
No, Vinny. Yeah, Vinny's stealing the VCR combo. So then they arrest Vinny, and then they arrest Andy, and Andy is now back in his fetal position because he's been super, I guess he's still possessed or super possessed during this point.
Well, I think, you mean when he's in like the hospital room?
Well, when he's about to be there.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think that he's just like lost his mind at this point. Yeah.
So now Jill's all like, I will get you. I mean, we have such great sex. I mean, I got to get you back. And he just
I'll get you back somehow.
So then we see him in the mental hospital.
With his typewriter. We see the nurse, and we see Jill. Jill's there saying, I will get you out of here. You promised me we would escape this big city together. I'm going to get you here. Just say something. Say something. And then Andy can't say nothing because he's possessed by Satan. So she leaves. Well, we don't know that yet, but we find out in a minute.
First of all, he's from Kansas City, brother. What do you think they do over there? All right. How do you think that football team keeps winning, brother? Magic?
Satan.
Yeah. It's either Satan or that power of Taylor Swift. Maybe she's Satan.
Maybe.
Anyway.
We're making a connection there. Taylor Swift is Satan.
So the hot nurse comes in. Where are all these hot nurses? I never get no hot nurse ever.
No, when I was in the hospital, I didn't get any hot nurses at all. Just a bunch of bruisers.
She's in there talking to him. She's like, oh, yeah, look at this guy. Everybody thinks this Andy guy is so cute. All right. She's like, oh, you don't talk? I don't talk either. Oh, you don't do this? I don't do this either. And then Andy's like, hey, I wrote a story about you. And she's like, and Jill and the girl's like, oh, okay. And then they look at it. We've got a freeze frame. And then we're led to believe that the story is going to eventually kill or destroy the nurse. Hopes and dreams.
So this is where we find out he's still possessed by Satan or whatever this is. That's in the VCR.
Well, it's the Nepo babies who did their ritual in their mom's basement. They have unlocked the power of Satan. And now the power of Satan has now possessed Andy, and Andy is now a typewriter of Satan powers.
Yeah, now anything he writes comes true.
And then we basically set up for a sequel that we will never get unless we do it.
Unless we make it ourselves.
I can make a good sequel on this one, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
we
like
should do that. We
you know
should
what I
start
mean?
making these sequels that we keep talking
Yeah,
about.
these fucking movies.
Yeah.
All right, like
I mean, how much could the rights to this cost?
zero.
Night
I bet
Vision 2.
even nobody even
0.
knows who this shit is. I mean, let's be honest.
Night Vision 2.
Night Vision 2: The Return.
Is it
All
still
right.
going to be a VCR though, or is
The
it going to be
return
something more
of
modern?
No, it'd be Night Vision 2: The Return of the cassette tape or VCR tape. And what it could be is the VCR tape was lost due to all this technology and streaming shit. But you have all these hipsters nowadays that like collecting this old shit.
Oh, this is perfect. Yeah,
bro. And we'll get a fucking low T non-testosterone fucking hippie.
yeah.
He finds his fucking cassette tape out of his fucking hipster bar. He plays it, and then he starts writing all this. Nobody likes this hipster's writing because it's all a bunch of hippie bullshit nobody cares about. All right. But then he starts writing good stuff. All right. And we have him just fucking creating his whole cult because he basically now controls the power of Satan, and he's writing all these like hippie cult stories, and we're basically make it like the ending of the that real cult that everybody died in.
Yeah, the
You know
one
what I mean?
with the spaceship.
With this, and then that's how the movie will be. It'll be a lot darker than this one, but that's how it is.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, it's a goddamn crime that you're not making movies.
I
Like,
know.
you should. That's what you should be doing. Like,
Oh
I
man,
mean,
I
yeah.
would. Okay, have you ever seen the God, what's that show? Oh fuck, it was on Netflix. It was pretty good. It was about the superheroes, and they had that one hippie guy on there who saw like the dead people. Full Umbrella Academy, the Umbrella Academy.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that, but I know what
Okay,
you're talking
so
about.
everybody who's seen the Umbrella Academy, that guy who's like the hippie guy on there, he would be my
Yeah.
number one person to pick because he plays a great hippie guy. If I could afford him, I would have him in my Night Visions 2 movie. All right, be my hipster guy.
or we could just go uptown and find some low testosterone hipster
Yeah.
to get him to be in our movie.
Oh god, that'd be hilarious. And he's all like,
I mean,
you know,
I know the perfect person for this.
There you go.
But
yeah,
you know.
we'll find him out there. We'll get a couple local coffee spots in there. We'll give him a typewriter too. You know what I mean? They like all the old stuff. We'll give him a vinyl, a typewriter,
Yeah.
VHS, everything, brother.
Yeah,
And he's just all his hipster stories will come true. There'll be a whole cult. We'll have a detective trying to like destroy the cult. We'll have some sort of I don't know, some sort of gangster in there like Vinny.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I would love to do a sequel to this film. That'd be awesome.
yeah. It would be
You know what
perfect.
I mean? And like what I would do is I would copy like the VHS would have the exact same scenes as this one did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we
Exactly.
go.
And
So-
you know, like our town doesn't have any big buildings, but we could shoot them like low to the ground and
Yeah.
then and imply that they're tall.
Yeah. Yeah, like we would have it where he didn't move to the big city. The tape found him at a small city.
Okay, that'll work too.
That's a twist, brother, because the tape doesn't only work in a big city; it could also work in a small city too.
Yeah, exactly. We have it just move at the beginning of the movie, like given to Goodwill, and then it moves to another town when somebody buys it or something, and then gets thrown away. Yeah, that's perfect.
And the first story is everybody loves his coffee,
Mhm.
and that's how he knows he has magical Satan powers from everybody liking his crappy coffee.
Yeah, because he used to suck at it before.
I need to
This
start
is
writing
gonna be
that
so
script.
good.
I need to write that script.
Yeah, this is
All
gonna
right.
be so good.
Anyway, so Alison, what we got going on for next week in our Satan month?
Man, we're gonna watch another rare movie. So sometimes we find these movies that are only on the YouTube because you can't get them on anything else.
Perfect.
This movie is also from 1987, I believe.
What a year.
And it's called The Unholy.
Oh, The Unholy. There you go.
Yep, 1988. Excuse me.
There you go. 1980, The Unholy. Sounds good to me. We will continue this ride of Satan in 1980s horror. I'm really liking this month so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I've
there's
wanted to
some
do these for a
wild-
while,
yeah.
so I'm excited.
Hopefully we can do a
about this.
number 2. There's a couple more out there that we're liking. I would definitely not mind doing a number 2 of this one because it's just the way they portray it. It's just so funny to me. Most of these movies.
Yeah.
All right. So
And then we can talk more about Satanic Panic next week as well, because that's going to have a big influence on some of these movies for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, but everybody, thanks for joining us here on the Retro Blood. You can find us Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Comment below. Tell some of your favorite VCR stories. Has there been any VCR stories that made you go out and write love stories or something? Then maybe, I guess.
Have you ever been possessed by the VCR?
Yeah, you ever been possessed by a VCR tape? I have.
Yeah.
All right. Come on, man.
Back in my youth.
Yeah, back in my youth, man. It happens. But anyway, J.H. Alison, James Kline. We'll see you next week on The Retro Blood.
See you guys.
Yeah.